Advocates for change. Today, we gather to challenge the notion that while seemingly compelling, may lead us astray in our quest for justice and equality. The idea that social movements should harness anger as their primary tool is not only flawed, but potentially detrimental to the very causes we seek to champion. Let us explore why embracing anger may do more harm than good in our fight for a better world. In my argument today, I will present three key points. First, anger estranges potential allies and diminishes the message of inclusivity. Second, it can cloud judgment and lead to counterproductive actions. Finally, there are more constructive emotions, such as empathy and hope, that can promote genuine solidarity and sustainable change. To start off with a few rebuttals to our first opposition speaker, who argues that white silence is violence and that we must create space for anger to be expressed. While I acknowledge the pain and frustration that silence can perpetuate, I contend that anger alone does not stimulate dialogue. It often just shuts it down. The assertion that we can afford to lose allies in the pursuit of a righteous cause overlooks the importance of alliance building, which is what we want in the social movement. We want people to help us. We want the government to see what our pain is when we get more people to help us in our social movement. An angry narrative can drive a wedge between communities, isolating those whom feel that they cannot engage with a message steeped in rage. First opposition speaker similarly also asserts that anger is a natural expression of our humanity, suggesting that to suppress it is to suppress our very essence. I get that anger can be a valid emotional response to injustice, but I argue that it is not the most constructive way to channel our humanity. Anger often breeds resentment and hostility, which can alienate potential allies and undermine the very movements we seek to advance. Instead of taking away our humanity, we should elevate it by choosing to respond with compassion and understanding. The speaker also goes on to talk about how if we force people of the younger generations to come help with the angry social movement, they will understand the problem and be more effective. I don't think that's the case here. As someone who supports the gay rights movement by putting a flag up on their window and actually forcing them to come into their social movement and be angry with them is the same thing. Because we're not here to force people for your social movement. We're here for them to we're here to include them in our social movements through our emotions such as pain, and we tell them our stories, make them feel the pain that we feel, and make them join our social movements. The speaker is also effectively saying that it's like war against the government because we're forcing people to be more effective and be in our social movement. And so for that reason, I don't think that anger is a way to go forward. It's not war, it's a social movement. Onto my arguments. First, let's consider the impact of anger on our ability to build partnerships. Social movements thrive on inclusivity and collaboration. When anger dominates the dialogue, it risks isolating those who may not share the same emotional intensity as people in the social movement. We need allies from all walks of life, those who might feel overwhelmed by anger and are instead motivated by understanding and compassion. By encouraging an environment of empathy, we can broaden our support base to ensure a more robust movement that resonates beyond just the angry few. We also must consider the example we set for our upcoming generations, how they are told to ask, not to demand. The children are getting bad examples from adults who are meant to be teaching them the right things, not the wrong things. Secondly, anger can cloud our judgment and lead to counterproductive actions. When fueled by rage, we act impulsively, making decisions that can undermine our ultimate goals. History is replete with examples where anger has led to violence or division rather than progress. Instead of encouraging thoughtful discourse and strategic action, anger may provoke reactions that derail constructive engagement. In contrast, a movement rooted in hope and resilience inspires thoughtful solutions and attracts a wider range of supporters who are ready to engage in meaningful dialogue. Finally, my third point is that we can use other methods and other emotions to get successful results in social movements. When people are angry, they are less likely to react they're less likely to listen and more likely to react impulsively, like said before. This is counterproductive in any movement aiming for lasting change. Effective advocacy requires clear communication, understanding, and the ability to engage in constructive dialogue. Movements that prioritize calm, rational discourse, such as those led by figures like Martin Luther King and Mahatma Gandhi, have demonstrated that peaceful methods rooted in understanding yield far more powerful results than anger and aggression ever could. In conclusion, while anger is a valid emotion in the face of injustice, it should not be the cornerstone of our social movements. Instead, let us channel our pain into empathy, our urgency into strategic action, and our frustration into unifying dialogue. Let us move forward with rational discourse where we make others understand the pain through our calmness and empathy. Together, we can build a movement that not only demands change, but also inspires hope and solidarity. Thank you.